You already knew the what, now know the why. It's 2 a.m. You wake up thirsty, the room is quiet, your phone is dead, the hallway is dark, and suddenly you, a grown adult with taxes, passwords, responsibilities, and a fully functioning brain, are negotiating with yourself like a medieval villager. Do I really need water? Can I survive until morning? What if I just don't move? You know nothing is there. You know there is no creature under the bed, no face in the corner, no hand waiting in the hallway, and yet your foot won't leave the blanket. Not because you believe in monsters, but because some older part of you is asking a very different question. What if you're wrong? That's the strange thing about the dark. It doesn't have to show you anything to scare you. It only has to stop showing you enough. Because you're not really afraid of the dark. You're afraid of what your brain becomes inside it. And once you understand that, the fear stops looking childish and starts looking ancient. Here's the first thing your brain hates. Missing information. Not pain, not danger, not even fear. Uncertainty. Because uncertainty is where your brain has to guess. And in the dark, your brain is forced to guess about everything. That pile of clothes on the chair? In daylight, it's laundry. At 2 a.m., it becomes a crouched figure with shoulders. That coat behind the door? In daylight, it's embarrassing because you still haven't put it away. At night, it has posture. The hallway? In daylight, just a hallway. In darkness, it becomes a place where something could be standing just outside the part your eyes can understand. That's the real trick. Darkness doesn't create a monster. Darkness creates a blank space. And your brain does not leave blank spaces empty. It fills them. Fast, badly, dramatically. Because your brain would rather imagine a threat that isn't there than miss a threat that is. That's why the dark feels occupied. Not because something is in the room, but because your brain is built to ask, could something be in the room? And once that question appears, your body answers before your logic does. Your chest tightens, your hearing sharpens, your eyes scan corners. Then your rational brain shows up late and says, relax, it's just a jacket. But your body is already like, interesting theory, we're still not walking over there. Deep inside your brain is a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it like a smoke detector. Not a judge, not a scientist, not a calm little philosopher saying, let us review the evidence. A smoke detector. And smoke detectors are not designed to be accurate. They're designed to be early. If you burn toast, it screams. It doesn't care that you're not dying. It has one job. Maybe fire. Alarm now. Your amygdala works the same way with threat. Maybe danger. Alarm now. That's why you can know you're safe and still feel afraid. The part of your brain that knows you're safe is not the part that sounds the alarm. Your thinking brain says, there is no monster. Your ancient alarm says, there is not enough information to confirm that. And your fear system is faster. By the time you have the thought, there's nothing there, your body has already voted. Heart rate up, muscles ready, foot back under blanket. That's why fear of the dark feels irrational. It isn't coming from the rational part of you. It's coming from the part that was never built to win arguments. It was built to keep you alive. But why is the alarm so sensitive? Why doesn't your brain just learn? You've gone into dark rooms thousands of times. You've survived every single night of your life. So why does the alarm still come back? Because your brain was not designed around your bedroom. It was designed around the nights your ancestors almost didn't survive. Start with something so obvious nobody thinks about it. You are a daytime creature. Your eyes are incredible in sunlight. Color, detail, distance, expression. You can look at another human's eyes and instantly know they're angry, they're lying, they're flirting, they're about to ask you for money. But when the sun goes down, your greatest sense weakens. You don't go completely blind. You just lose the good stuff. Color fades, edges soften, depth gets weird, certainty disappears. And that's a nightmare for an animal that depends so heavily on vision. Now imagine the trade. You lose detail, but the animals that hunted your ancestors don't. A leopard does not look at the darkness and think, wow, this is inconvenient. For many predators, Night isn't the problem. Night is the advantage. Their eyes gather more light. Their hearing stays sharp. Their smell still works. So when darkness falls, the world doesn't become equally dangerous for everyone. It becomes specifically worse for you. The dark isn't scary because darkness is evil. It's scary because for most of human history, darkness was the moment the rules changed. In daylight, you could see danger coming. At night, danger could see you first. And that one fact shaped your nervous system. This is where the story gets uncomfortable, because the fear wasn't invented from nothing. For most of human history, there really were things in the dark. Not demons, predators, leopards, lions, hyenas, large snakes, animals with eyes better than yours, feet quieter than yours, and teeth designed for exactly the kind of mistake humans make when they don't see something coming. And big cats attack in the exact way darkness makes terrifying, silently, suddenly, from close range. A sound behind you, a shape too late, a blur from the side, then nothing. That's the world your fear system was calibrated for. Not a safe bedroom, not a hallway with Wi-Fi. A world where, "I'm probably fine," was sometimes the last thought an animal ever had. And this is why your brain plays such a cruel game. It treats unknown space as potentially alive. That shadow? Maybe nothing. That sound in the kitchen? Maybe the fridge. That black gap under the bed? Maybe empty. But your fear system doesn't ask what's most likely. It asks what would be most expensive to ignore. And ignoring a predator is very expensive. So your brain would rather be wrong in the embarrassing direction. Rather make you afraid of a jacket than let you calmly walk toward a leopard. One false alarm costs you a little sleep. One missed alarm costs you everything. So evolution turned the sensitivity up, and then it left it there. You are not descended from the calm ones. You are descended from the ones who got nervous, the ones who stayed near the fire, the ones who looked twice, the ones who heard a branch snap and didn't say, "It's probably nothing." The ones who felt that cold little voice say, "Get closer to the group. Stay where there's light. Do not walk into that." And because they listened, you exist. Now look at children, because children give the whole secret away. Fear of the dark is one of the most common childhood fears, and it usually appears before a child can even explain it. A kid doesn't need a documentary about predators. One night, the lights go off and the room changes. The closet is suspicious. The corner feels wrong. The space under the bed becomes an entire legal problem. And adults say, "There's nothing there," which is true, but it misses the point. The child isn't reacting to evidence. The child is reacting to possibility. And for a young human, possibility mattered. A child was smaller, slower, easier to grab, more likely to wander. So the fear of darkness did something useful. It kept children close. Close to parents, close to fire, close to the group. A child afraid of the dark isn't being weak. They're running an ancient safety program perfectly. It's just aimed at a laundry basket now instead of a predator. The emotion is real. The danger is outdated. But then you grow up. You learn that shadows are shadows, that closets contain clothes, that the sound in the hallway is just the building settling, or the fridge making that noise it's made for 6 years that you still pretend is normal. So why doesn't the fear disappear? Because your brain doesn't delete survival programs just because modern life made them inconvenient. It updates slowly, very slowly. Your conscious brain lives in 2026. Your threat system is still somewhere near a fire, listening to the bushes. That's why you can be perfectly logical by day and weirdly superstitious at night. You don't believe anything is under the bed, but you still don't love letting your foot hang off the edge. And the funny part? Your brain knows how silly it sounds. That's why nobody says, "I am afraid of a predator entering my room under low visibility conditions." They say, "I don't know, it just feels weird." Exactly. That weird feeling is the whole system. Your brain detecting uncertainty, treating empty space as possible presence, preparing your body before your thoughts can object. The fear feels older than belief, because it is. We cheated. First, we made our own sun. Fire changed everything. Light, warmth, a center. And maybe that's why even now fire feels different from normal light. A campfire doesn't just look pretty, it feels safe. A candle changes a dark room instantly. Even a phone screen at 2 a.m. makes a room feel less empty. That's not aesthetic. That's your nervous system recognizing one of the oldest human signals. Light means the dark is not winning. Second, we stayed together. Humans aren't the strongest, fastest, or quietest animal. But a group of humans, one sleeps, another wakes. Someone hears something. Someone keeps the fire alive. Alone in the dark, you're fragile. Together, near the light, you become difficult prey. And third, we kept the fear. This is the part people misunderstand. The goal was never to become fearless. Fearless animals die in very confident ways. Fear kept your ancestors close. Careful. It made them check, made them wait until morning. So when you feel that little spike in a dark room, your brain isn't broken. A very old tool is doing exactly what it was built to do. It just hasn't received the update that the predator is gone. So tonight, when you turn off the light and the room changes, when the hallway feels longer, when the corner looks too full, when your foot decides the blanket is legally required protection, notice what's actually happening. Your brain isn't seeing a monster. It's seeing uncertainty. And uncertainty is where your oldest alarm system wakes up. You already knew the what. You knew the feeling. The quick walk back to bed. The glance over your shoulder. The refusal to stare too long into the dark. Now you know the why. You are a modern human living in a world of locks, lights, walls, cities, and glowing screens. But inside you is an older human. A quieter one. One who remembers that night was not always peaceful. That the world used to change when the sun disappeared. One who whispers, stay near the light. Get close to the others. Don't go out there. That voice is not childish. It is not weakness. It is one of the oldest, most loyal things you own. The predators are mostly gone. The fear stayed. Still standing guard over a threat that rarely comes anymore. Inside a body that never fully learned it was finally safe. So if tonight, for no reason, you feel that little chill in the dark, don't be embarrassed. That's not a monster. That's not madness. That's 200,000 years of survivors still keeping watch. You already knew the what. Now you know the why. I'm glad you're here. I'll see you in the next one.